Got it.
We're good? Okay. All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Littleton. I am Kara's Success Partner. And we just kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about um, flipping your switch and then finding your gusto. And the reason I'm doing this kind of in combination is because I think there's always this constant fluctuation of finding balance within your life and within your business and then merging that together. And what I want you guys to flip your switch on is to merge that and leave it together, because your life and your business, they're meshed together. You know, you can't just focus on like life balance and then, oh, I'll find time for Beachbody, or oh, I'll find time to do this. And then you can't obviously focus 100% of your time on Beachbody because you're going to neglect your family. And I think that's a constant balance that most of us have until you start to find your groove. So let's just talk a little bit about putting yourself in. If you're not a beginner on this team, you know, if you're not a newbie, you probably remember what it's like, right? You know, think back to a situation like when you were new, you know, did you change schools in junior high? You know, did you go to college and you were a new person, didn't know anybody? You know, did you join a sports team and didn't know anybody on the team, join a new church? Whatever it is, you've been in a situation where you are the new person. You don't know what to expect. You might have a little bit of fear, but you have to just get in there and start talking to people and just do it, right? And it's the same thing here, but you're just grown up and this is your business. So I want you guys to kind of remember what it's like to be that new person, and then remember what you did to get out of that state of fear, okay? So I'm going to give you a few tips, and then we'll kind of dive into how you can flip your switch, okay? So number one is to be happy before you get there. Wherever there is for you, whether it's 15-star diamond, whether it's retiring a spouse, whether it's retiring yourself, paying off debt, just saving, you know, it doesn't even have to be financial, but a fitness goal, whatever it is, whatever there is for you, you have to be happy along the journey. You have to be content with where you are all the time because you are where you are because that's where you're supposed to be. You can't move forward until you do personal growth to be able to handle what's coming to you. You know, it's always the scale that you're going to be going across. So you have to be happy along your journey. And it's the same thing for fitness. You know, we tell our challengers to love yourself while you work on yourself, right? So it's the same thing in your business. Love yourself and be happy and content and proud while you're working towards those bigger goals, right? And number two is to see it before you have it. So you have to visualize. This is why we talk about making a vision board, you know, putting it in writing, putting those affirmations out there, and see it. Say it out loud, claim it, and make it yours while you work towards it. You know, it's the same thing if you flip it and you think of the negative. If you're always having those negative thoughts, always being fearful, that's what you're going to be inviting into your life. And I don't know if you guys have ever read The Secret or any of those mindset books out there that talk about this, but it's true and it works. So play with it this week. If you feel like you've never really done affirmations, or you've never really kind of thought about it like that, that is what's going to help you start to flip that switch in your mind from I can't to I can and I will, okay? Everybody has fears, but we all have to work on those fears, and you can only do that by, you know, doing the personal development, visualizing it, and working on it, and you have to claim it to get there, okay? And number three is heart and armor. You can't get far by being false and not being who you are. If you really want to have people, you know, follow you and, you know, not just on social media, but like really trust you and follow you on your journey, and then get to the point where they want to join you on this journey, you have to open your heart, be willing to help them, be willing to help them where they are, you know, where they're ready to start, but then also put up that armor, because there are always going to be skeptics. There are always going to be people who tell you no, people who doubt you, people who think that you're not doing a legit career, or you're not, you know, maybe home programs aren't a legit workout. They just don't get it. but there are always going to be those people out there. So you have to open your heart, but at the same time, guard your heart. Okay. And that's a tricky balance in itself, but you just have to know that that's coming. And if you haven't experienced that yet, you just have to toughen up as you go. Okay. You know that whatever those people are saying, the skeptics or the doubters, it's on them. It has more to do with them than it has to do with you. And that's always something that I have to remind myself of too, because it's easy to let that stuff get to you, but that's why you're visualizing what you're working for. You're happy, you're content, and you're proud of yourself for what you've done already and where you're going, right? That's why all of this kind of fits in together. And then the fourth one is there's no bench, okay? That you're the CEO of your company, of your business, whether you want to go full steam and make this $1 million business, or whether you want to, just pay off some debt, or, do it as a side hobby or a part-time job. You can't sit out. There is no bench here. You have to get up and you have to hustle and you have to put the time in. I want you to I started with a reflection because I want you guys to think back and think about those times that maybe you were a little bit nervous, maybe you had fear. Think about those pain points that you had in your life and let it fuel you to do better. Let it fuel you to move past those. We all have those times. Maybe you were awkward in junior high. Maybe you lost a job. Whatever it is that's happened in your life, let that be the fuel to your fire to drive you forward that much more. Does that make sense? To get you moving, propel past whatever fear you have that's holding you back that you had in the past. Okay. And then number 5 is to stop asking for so much advice. Okay. And I don't say that because we're not here to help you. I say that because I think that when you start going through your journey as a coach, when you're brand new, you are asking a lot of questions, and you should be. But when you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, I've done a new coach training, I've done all of this stuff, I've learned, I've asked a ton of questions, you need to stop. Because at some point, you have to stand on your own 2 feet and you have to clip your wings, okay? And that's never, ever to say that we're not here to help you. If you're my coach, you know that I'm always here. I'm a text message away, and I'm always willing to give you my time. And I know it's the same with Kara and her team too, and any of our upline. But when you are going through this and you're ready to kind of clip your wings, or you're probably not ready, you feel like you're not ready, but you really are. You know more than you think. But it's those doubts that creep in. And that's why, number 1 through 4 up until this, you have to be on top of that. You have to visualize. You have to be content and be happy and be proud of yourself where you are. You have to put your guard up against those haters, and you have to open your heart to the people who are willing to hear you and are already following you. Okay. And then you got to go hustle with it. Because if you're in a conversation, you know how to answer a question. You know more than you think. You know where to find answers. And you want to start that because that's going to create the standard and the consistency for your team coming in. So you will never, ever recruit a coach that's ready to move farther or better than where you are right then. Okay, let that sink in a little bit. So right where you are right now, the people that you're recruiting, they're going to be on your wavelength right now. And they might want to run with you. They might not want to run with you, and that's okay. But if you're not doing this stuff, you can't expect your coaches to do that stuff, right? So we have to be the ones to say, okay, I know this. I can do this. I'm going to tune out the fears, open up my heart, and be ready to help people, and be ready to do this, and be ready to put the hustle in. Because when you stop asking for so much advice, all of a sudden you realize how much you know, right? Do we have any questions so far? I'm going kind of fast. I can't see everybody. Oh, there we go. No? Okay. And then I kind of want you guys to open up your creativity a little bit, because when you follow when you follow whatever, what everybody else is thinking, what everybody else is doing, that's not where your creativity breeds. And when you see other people taking off, and you might be thinking, well, why are they going, to 15-star faster than I am? Why are they moving through this faster than I am? What am I not doing? You don't have your blinders on and you're following the pack. Okay, I'm a huge believer in separating yourself from the pack and just being you. And that's why we always say to be your authentic self, because you have more to offer than you realize. You have more to give than you're believing in yourself right now. You know, you always have more to give, but then you always have to have that armor up, okay? So open up your creativity and put your blinders on so you're not following, you know, what every single other person's doing, so you don't start comparing and get that stinky, you know, those stinky thoughts in your mind. And now that is good. You don't want to follow what everybody else is doing, but you also, you know, I recommend keeping a couple top coaches or a couple people that inspire you, because you can get inspiration and kind of go off of that and then make it your own. Or, you know, if you see a post that inspires you by someone else, obviously don't copy and paste it, but let it inspire you, let it stir up inside of you for a little bit, and then write your own, make your own posts out of it. It's okay to do that. So, you know, maybe follow a few, but in terms of like social media, if you only have coaches in your newsfeed, or you only see, you know, what other coaches are doing, you got to start, you know, maybe unfollowing, or, you know, putting it, you shouldn't be scrolling your newsfeed anyway, let's be honest, but getting that out so you can start brewing up your own creativity, okay? Because it almost works backwards. Or if you're following the pack too much and you're watching what everybody else is doing, you're stifling yourself, you know, and then you don't realize how much you know, you don't realize how much you can do, you don't realize how much you can grow and help people if you're being stifled and you're comparing. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. Okay. Just turn my page real quick. I gotta take a drink because my throat's really dry. I'm sorry. Okay. So then what do you do from here? Now that you're all inspired, now that you have all of this great momentum going because you've stayed super consistent in your business, what do you do when you clip your wings? Okay. You map it out. You plan. Okay. We create social media calendars. You know, I know that we've all had examples from those, you know, from Meg. I'm sure Kara has some. I've had some for my team. But basically with your social media calendar, you're going to map out a month. And you're going to look, you know, pay attention to the trends on your page, and you're going to look and see, well, when do I post some jabs? When do I post some hooks? And by kind of having a tentative plan with that, you're going to be able to talk about the things that you want your followers to be, you know, learning from you and learning from your story. And then you're also not going to be feeling like you're always putting out a jab or always putting out a hook or always talking about fitness, Shakeology, right? So you want to find that healthy balance, which is why it's good to plan it out. You can do this a variety of ways. You can write it down. You can make something online, a little Excel sheet, or, you know, whatever works for you in your organization. Do that, but have a tentative plan of when you want to talk about this stuff, when you want to start inviting. And that just coincides with your monthly calendar. Okay. You got to have a plan of when you're going to run groups. If you're still going to stay with your upline, that's fine. You know, obviously talk to them, but make sure that you're planning that out so you have plenty of time for your posts. So you have plenty of time to invite. You have plenty of time to follow up and make sure people get set up on time, right? And also your personal development. When are you going to do it? You know, when do you need it during the day? I know for me, I need my personal development first thing in the morning, because I need to get my mind right before I go into any other part of my day. And this, you know, kind of goes into like when you can do your power hour, if you need to break it up. That's a scheduling thing that you have to work out, you know, with whatever situation you're in. And I'll tell a little bit of my story about that in a little bit. But your business will never be bigger than your own personal growth. Okay, so if you think that personal development is not important, you think I got this, I don't need that stuff, you're wrong. Okay, and I can say that 100% because that was me in the beginning. I didn't think I needed personal development. I didn't think that I needed to read some self-help books to help me grow and be a better person and be a Beachbody coach. But you do, okay? Because just because we are called Beachbody coaches and it has this like fun foo-foo career title to it, this is a business and you can't grow your business unless you grow yourself, okay? And then your own fitness. This is something else you need to have a plan for. What program are you going to do? What's coming up next? Are you going to do a hybrid? Are you going to do it with a group? Right? Have a plan for yourself, because that is going to tie into your posting. That's going to tie into what you're inviting people to. It's going to tie into your mindset. You're going to make your own transformation story and work on yourself in the process. And that's part of your personal growth. Okay, so do you see how all of this is intertwined back together? Without a plan on your social media, without a plan in your calendar, without a plan in your own fitness and your personal development, something is going to be missing. There's always going to be one link missing if you're leaving that stuff out, and you're never going to make that chain. Okay, you're never going to reach the top if you don't have all your links together. Okay. Sorry, my voice is kind of going out. And then plan for your support. Okay, you can't do this alone. And whether it's your spouse, this is not just your business. If you're married, this is your business with your spouse. Because maybe they're not hands-on answering messages and running challenge groups for you, but they're your support. Okay, they're still part of your business, so you need to recognize that. And I like to bring this part up because I know in the very beginning, even my husband was thinking that this was a scam. He said, okay, go ahead and play with your Beachbody stuff, but when are you going to go back to work? When are you going to, when are you going to do something else? Right? So I had to prove to him that this was legit. But all along, he's been super supportive of me. And I have to remember to recognize that, because without him, maybe putting the kids to bed while I'm on a team call, or just relaxing when he thinks I'm just on Facebook and I'm actually doing work, I had to explain to him and make sure that he understands that what I'm doing is actually work. And sometimes that's all it takes. So you have to plan for your support. Who is on your side? Who is your upline? Who is your success partner? Who do you have to go to when things aren't going well and you just need someone to talk to? Who do you have to go to when you want to celebrate something? Because all of that matters. All of that matters, I promise you. And if you don't have a success partner, I really encourage you to find one just like Kara, because she's pretty much amazing. You are amazing. Sorry, excuse me. And then the next one is to just get after it, okay? Kind of ties back to the hustle, but just do it. There will never, ever be a perfect time. You're never going to have a perfect post that you think is, spot on amazing. And then when you do have that perfect post, it might be a flop, okay? But that's just how it is. That's social media. There's never going to be a perfect time for you to go after what you're chasing. You're there, that we talked about in the very beginning. You have to visualize where you're going. There's never a perfect time to start going there except right now, okay? Because tomorrow you're going to find another excuse on what's holding you back. And the next day you're going to find something else like, oh, well, I overslept and I didn't have time to do it today. This is a business of consistency, right? So you can't just come in one day and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it really hard today, and I'm going to have this flourishing business. It doesn't work like that. So you have to put the time into yourself every day. That's why we map it out. That's why we plan ahead. And everything's tentative. This also is a business of fluctuation, right? Let's be honest. You control your schedule. So if you oversleep, that's okay. You can do it later, right? You're not going to get fired. You're not going to get in trouble, okay? So that's the beautiful part, and that's also the scary part, because we don't have a boss telling us that we're going to lose our job if we don't do this. But then all of a sudden one day, you're not going to have any business, right? And you're going to have to start all over again, okay? So that's why it's important to keep that plan it out, and stick to it as much as you can. Because even if you do have those times where you lose your momentum, you can start over, okay? It's never done. It's never done for you until you cancel your account. And I always use this analogy. So if you've heard this before, I'm sorry. And if you've read The Compound Effect, I know you've heard this. But I just love it because it's so simple, and it's just pumping your well. Okay, in the very beginning, you're pumping, trying to get water out of this well that's seemingly dried up, right? But okay, I got to pump, I got to get this water. That beginning, in the very beginning, when you're pumping your dry well, that's you as a new coach. That's you sending out messages, putting out some scary posts that might feel really vulnerable to you at first. That's you inviting. Maybe you sound too salesy. Who cares? We've all done that before. But that's you putting the time in and pumping your well, digging into your fitness, trying to find an organization, a plan that works for you, and adjusting. That's pumping your well, okay? And then all of a sudden you get this little trickle of water, Okay, you get your first challenger, right? Or your first discount coach, your first person that wants to join a free group with you. And you're ecstatic, right? You get this little drip of water and it's like life. Okay, so you have to keep pumping. You have to keep inviting. You have to keep mapping out your plan, working on your fitness, digging in, hustling and diving and loving on these people. And then you're getting another challenger and another coach. And all of a sudden more water comes. And all of a sudden you're overflowing, right? And that's your momentum. That's how you get this momentum going. And that is when the switch happens. Okay, there is no set time, but you make it. Okay, you have the power to flip your switch, to go from, I don't know if this is going to work for me, but I'm going to see what happens, to I can, I will, and I freaking got this, right? But there might be a day where you wake up and you're like, I don't got this. That's okay. Okay, don't freak out, because you do, and that's why personal development is important. That's why we go back to these steps, okay? Because let's be completely honest, we have people who might doubt us. We have people that might say, this isn't real, okay? Come back to me when you're in reality again. But you've got to prove those people wrong. Let that be fire, or let that be fuel to your fire, okay? Don't let it put out your fire, okay? That's wood, that's not water, okay? So you have to keep pumping your well, and then believe it times 100, okay? Your business is based on your belief in yourself, okay? Nothing else, because no one else can do it for you, and no one else can take you down except for you, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah, any questions so far? Can you even hear me? I feel like I'm crackling. Okay. Okay. All right, I just have 5 more pages of notes and then I'll be done. I'm just kidding. Let me just find the right one. Okay, so we talked about that. Okay, so I just want to give you a few time management tips that I've learned. We all come from different places, but when I first started coaching, I was working full-time, like full-time plus. I was probably gone like 60 hours a week. And at the time, my girls were 1 and 2, 2 and 3. I don't know. They were little. And we were happy. I mean, we were happy in our family. We were, thriving, but that little piece was missing. We wanted more time together. I hated commuting. I hated dropping my kids off at a sitter or at his mom's and driving another 25 minutes to work, only to come back another 25 minutes and take them home just to give them a bath and feed them and put them to bed. Like, that's not the time we wanted at night. So when I first became a coach, at first I said no. And at first I thought it was a scam. And at first I thought, this is never going to work, but I'm just going to see what happens. And then I thought, I don't need personal development. But then I didn't go anywhere. So I had to start doing personal development because I wanted to make this work, because I wanted to get paid. Okay, and I'm not afraid to say that anymore, because in the beginning, we all want to help people, and that's great. But you have to find your why, okay? And I know that's so cliche. I know you've heard it a million times, but you really have to figure out why you are doing this, okay? Yes, helping people, obviously, we're all doing that. But why do you want to be a Beachbody coach? Think about that. Or write it down. Why do you want to be a coach? What drives you to do this other than helping people? Okay, and then after that, write down, what are you afraid of in this business? What's holding you back? Okay, so I want you to think about it just a little bit. And I know we've probably all done the exercise where you write down what you're afraid of, and then you tear the paper out and you crumple it up and then you throw it away, right? But I want you to look at this, and I really want you to think, and then think about, well, why am I afraid of this? Okay, if it's a fear of inviting, or is it a fear of failing? Is it a fear, whatever it is, that's the kind of personal development you want to be going for right now. Okay, if it's talking to people, if it's inviting, there's some kind of fear stemming within you that you need to work on yourself so you can move past this point in your business. Okay. And I want you to keep looking at your why, because it's going to fuel you to look for that personal development. Okay. And at the end, I want to go through. So maybe if we have some even personal development recommendations for that topic, maybe we can share those. But so back to, I was working full time, and, our schedule was really hectic, but I found pockets of time. I never, for the first probably year of my business, I never had a full power hour start to finish. I didn't have the time. So I would get up, maybe 20 minutes early. And when I got up, I did the same thing every day. I added 4 or 5 friends on Facebook. I messaged people, and I invited. That's all I had time for. And it was boom, 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 because I had to go. I had to go to work. In the middle of the day, I would answer some messages. And then on my drives, I would listen to personal development. Now, if you don't like audiobooks, or if you want to actually sit down, you're just going to have to find the time to do that. And it only takes 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes, read a little bit of your book. You've got tiny ones like this John Maxwell book right here, I learned so much from, and it's tiny, right? You can get so much reading done. So you have to look at your own schedule and find these little pockets of time, that you can get maybe 5 or 10 minutes done, 10, 20 minutes here and there. And that is your hustle. Okay, that's what the beginning of building a business is like. And I don't know if every coach expects that when they first join. So you have to be realistic and say, I want to be here next year. I want to be here in 5 years, and I want to build this to something big. Where is your there? That there that we talked about in the very beginning, where are you going? Okay, if you're going somewhere with this business, you have to hustle and do it now. You have to find those pockets of time, because it's not always going to be like that. Okay, but are you spending another 20, 25 minutes watching TV late at night? Maybe. Maybe you have to give it up for now. That's not to say forever. Okay, but for now, while you're trying to build the groundwork of your business, you have to give something up, or you have to rework it so you can get all of your stuff done, right? So find those pockets of time, and know that eventually when you do get to, retire, or whatever your goal is, you're going to have more control. You're not going to have to wake up 20 minutes early. You're going to be able to control more of your schedule, okay? So just be realistic about that, and know that there are bigger things coming for you, but you have to lay the groundwork. It's like building your house, right? You can't build it on sand. You have to have, a basement, or you have to have that concrete. You have to build the foundations. And when you're first pumping your well, that's building your foundation, and that's your hustle, okay? Okay, so let's open it up to, if you guys want to unmute yourself. So you guys have any questions or anything about anything?
I just want to add something, you guys. This goes off what Sarah had said, but my first year, I always heard that you will never attract a coach to your team that's better than you are. And I heard that over and over and over and over. And so for me, because it was so important to build a sustaining business right from the beginning, I knew that if I didn't do that, or if I didn't put in the work to do the little tasks, or to be consistent, or to figure out how to do it. And you guys, I never worked more than an hour my first year. Never. But if I didn't do the little things and be consistent about it, I was never going to have someone on my team that did that same thing. And it took me that first year to really, I had signed a lot of coaches. I still have a lot of those same coaches on my team, but I had very few of them that actually wanted to work at the business. And I know that if I hadn't been consistent with that, if I hadn't done those things, I would have probably gone 2 years before I would have had someone that worked at the business. So, think about that. Think of those things that you sit there and go, oh, I wish I just would have someone that would do this or do that or did this. Like, really look at yourself. Are you doing those same things? Is that an area you need to continue to improve in? Is that an area you need to provide more leadership in? Is that an area you need to just learn about and learn more tips and tricks? And so I just always think of it that way. Before you sit there and say, I wish this person would just do this, or I wish I had this, or I wish I had 15 people every month that wanted to join my challenge group. Well, are you even asking 15 people that would be interested? So just think of all those little things where instead of I wish, it's what can I do to work to get that?
Yeah, I like that. I tell new coaches too, think of your first year like your university year, right? Like if you go to college and you're trying to get a business degree, okay, you're not going to get that degree and be able to run a business until you finish learning, right? You got to get the education, you got to lay the groundwork. That's the same thing in your first year. So your first year, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to pump your well, do your hustle, all that good stuff. And then you're going to be good, you know? And it's not maybe a full year, maybe not a full calendar year, and everybody gets there at a different pace. But you have to own it, okay? However long it takes you to own your own excuses and then do the work to get past them, that's how fast you're going to move. So, okay, so what is everybody doing for personal development right now? What are you reading for personal and business?
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
I am reading the Badass book. I don't remember the total title of it. And then the little tiny book that you had us buy for that class.
Good.
That book.
I can't think of the name of it, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
I work at a place where I can listen to books like 2 hours in the afternoon, so that's pretty great. And I just listened to a book. It's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And she talked in there about fear. And I loved how she worded it as, I'm going to invite fear along on my road trip, but fear doesn't get to drive. I get to drive and I make the decisions. So I thought that was like the best part of the whole book.
I really like that. When you said I'm going to fear and invite it, I like that a lot. That's one of the books on my list.
What was the title of that book?
Big Magic, I think is what it's called. It's the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
I'm listening to, well, not listen. I don't listen. I like to read. Because I listen to children scream at me all day. I'm listening to The Girl Code and the 12-week year. I'm actually finishing kind of both of those right now. So.
Girl Code is one of my favorites. I go back to it often.
I know you love it. It's a good one.
I'm reading a book called #GirlBoss. That's all about kind of a woman who started up an online business from nothing. So it's kind of interesting to see what she went through and how that kind of applies to this type of business also.
Yeah, we all read that one about 2 years ago, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
When it first came out. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't it just kind of make you sick that she's like earning that much money starting from her freaking bedroom?
Right?
Selling stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
I don't even have anything good to sell on eBay.
I'm reading The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And that's the only one for right now. I don't have time to read too much. So, but I really like it. It's got some good stuff in it.
I love that one too. I actually just went back to that Miracle Morning for Network Marketers because I remember learning a ton from it, and now I wanted to go back and like apply more of it. Another one that I always get a lot from is called The Circle Maker. It's one of my favorites too. So if you are at all spiritual or religious or any kind of belief system, that one would probably speak to you too. And then I have, this is one that I really, really like. This is an older one by Gary Vaynerchuk, is Why Now is the Time to Crush It. This is one of my favorites too. It's a really, really easy read too. And then I got this one called The Impressionist, but I haven't read it yet. It's on my list. Becoming the masterpiece you were created to be. But I really recommend the Gary Vaynerchuk, anything by him. Obviously the Jab, 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 Right Hook too. It's a good business one. Okay, so did everybody write down their fears?
And you have about a minute, Sarah.
Yeah, I see. Okay, so with those fears, whatever it is, if you're not doing a personal development for it right now, make sure you put it on your list next, okay? Because if you want to advance in your business, you got to knock those fears to the curb, okay? All right, well, thank you guys for getting on. I appreciate you taking the time listening to my scratchy voice still.
That was great, Sarah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Are you feeling better?
I am. Yep, I am. Getting there. Yep. Well, thank you guys again, but have a great rest of your night.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.